I gathered all the best hidden gems for you in Valencia. Here you won't see Valencian Cathedral, Art and Sciences Complex or Central Market. No, I'll show you places that tourists and even people who live here for a long time don't know about. Make sure to watch this video till the end. It took me a lot of time to visit and film each of these places, and I left the best hidden spot at the end of this video. It even requires a secret password to get in. That being said, let's go! You might ask, Marie, where the heck are you? It even doesn't look like Valencia. Well, I am on the outskirts of Valencia right now, not far from Torrefiel neighborhood, and I arrived here to see the monastery. So you can get here by bus number 16 from the city center. And now let's take a closer look on the monastery.
Originally here was an Arab farmhouse before being transformed into a Cistercian monastery in the 14th century. When the Duke of Calabria commissioned it in the 16th century, he turned it into a mausoleum for himself and his wife. In the 19th century, it used to be a prison, and nowadays this monastery hosts a cultural and a research center and the important Valencian library that unfortunately is not available for visiting. I recommend taking a free tour in Spanish on the weekend at 1 p.m, as the tour guide will show you places which usual visitors don't have access to.
Many people who are visiting Valencia or are moving here know about the big festival Las Fallas that is held during the March. But did you know that there is a museum where you can find the sculptures that haven't been burned during the festival?
Every year, a pair of privileged figures, so-called ninots, made of wood, cardboard or wax, avoid to be burned at the end of the celebration. And in the museum, you can see all those that have been saved from the flames since 1934. There is a huge diversity of figures, from funny depictions to those addressing serious political or social issues, making the museum both interesting and entertaining.
It's cool to observe how with time all these sculptures got more sophisticated, because when you see sculptures from the 1930s or 1940s, they do look so creepy and very funny, but the latest ones especially, they are much better sculptured and painted. There are so many sculptures that represent the daily life of Valencian local people, like Albufera Lake, going fishing and bringing fish back home, or cooking something, cooking paella or fideas, going to the market, buying Valencian tomatoes. It's like in all these sculptures, you can see a bit of Valencian culture, and it's so rich. And I feel like I got so rich after visiting this museum, so highly recommend. In my opinion, it's a very underrated museum. It is dedicated to the life and works of Valencian painter and his artistic family.
The house located in the Carmen neighborhood is both a residence and an art museum. The museum displays a vast collection of José Benlliure's paintings, as well as works by his brother Mariano Benlliure, a famous sculptor, and his son Pepino Benlliure, also a painter. The collection includes landscapes, portraits, and works depicting Valencian customs and traditions. When you enter the art studio and library on the second floor, it's like stepping back right into the time they lived. There are numerous ceramics, musical instruments, family objects, and beautiful pieces of furniture.
Wow, you would not expect to see a garden here. It's like a small oasis next to a busy road, and it's so peaceful and such a quaint little beautiful garden. I love it. Now we are walking on the last few remaining streets of Campanar Village.
Campanar was originally a separate village that dates back centuries, and its agricultural background is still evident in the layout and architecture. Walking through its streets gives you a more peaceful village vibe compared to the modern parts of Valencia. This old part of Campanar still retains a traditional, laid-back feel with narrow streets and low-rise charming buildings.
Few tourists know about the Cervelló Palace. It's a little known palace here in Valencia, but it's worth seeing it. It looks like an ordinary building, but let's enter it.
Cervelló family originates from Catalonia and was influential during the medieval time. They didn't build this palace. It was built at the end of the 18th century as part of an initiative to create luxurious aristocratic residences. But in the 19th century, the Counts of Cervelló acquired the palace. It became their official residence, and later it was used as a royal residence and government building. On the walls, you can see a lot of portraits of kings and queens of Spain. There is a beautiful ballroom and salons with period furniture and antique objects.
So it's a small museum. My visit lasted like 40 minutes. The only thing is to keep in mind that there is no information in English. So everything is in Valencian or is in Spanish. If you love Valencia, it's also very cool to see how Valencia has changed over the centuries. It basically has pictures, paintings from how Valencia looked like in the 13th, 14th century and in the 18th, 19th. It is definitely a hidden palace because as soon as I entered, the guy who works there, he was so happy to see somebody. He explained me everything, so he does speak English and he was just great. We had a small talk, and I like going to places where you can actually interact with locals and people, and they can tell you some stories, some secrets about the place. They can give you some advice or tips. It's definitely a different vibe and much more interesting from just going to very popular hip touristic places. This is our favorite place to go when we are hungry. Hola, buenas, ¿para dos? So it's a Mediterranean buffet, and the concept of this place is that for 15 euros during the weekend, you can eat as much as you want or as much as you can, whatever you want, until you can't eat anymore, and you basically roll out of this place. Apotheke is the city's first speakeasy, an underground cocktail bar in the Great Gatsby style set during the Prohibition times in the 1920s. To enter it, you need to know a secret password that constantly changes.
Hola, ¿tiene la contraseña?
Julep. Gracias.
When you enter the door, this place takes you back 100 years ago to the time of Prohibition, the speakeasy, and American gangsters, where alcohol was forbidden and only consumed in underground places. Apotheke means pharmacy in German, and in such places, liquor with higher percentage of alcohol was consumed with the doctor's prescription during Prohibition times. This was basically one of the legal loopholes that was used at the time to get around the prohibition.
So I got this unusual cocktail, and it comes in a bathtub, as you can see. And I have no clue how to drink it. I think I will be very embarrassed right now drinking it like this from the bathtub, but I don't see any straw, anything, so I suppose I just drink it like that from a bathtub. I really don't know. I think I'm doing something stupid, really stupid. Oh god. Okay. Wow. It's a bit herbal, fruity and herbal at the same time. It's sake. It's sweet. It's actually nice. Very interesting. Very interesting. Just how they served it. And this is a sponge. You can also eat it. I feel like I'm eating algae or something, but it's like biscuit. Eating something from the coral reef. So I wanted to finish the video in the secret bar. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe and leave thumbs up to this video, and as always, I see you next week. Hasta pronto!